And welcome back. Joining us this morning, we have Dr. Lowry. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It is always a pleasure, Dave.
Well, I know we've had a lot of people who've had a lot of questions about cancer, and that's why we enjoy having you come back every month to help us out. This topic today, it's kind of hard to talk about. There are certain things that everybody should have in their possession, especially when you hit what we call adulthood.
Correct.
What are some of these documents that people should know about?
I think what we're talking about this morning particularly are advanced directives, documents that indicate what you would want done if you can't speak for yourself in terms of medical care.
So, I mean, is this an age thing, or is it I get to a certain point in health and I should start thinking about it?
I think that's one of the mistakes. People think that this is something to do just when they're reaching the very end of their life's journey, when there is very clearly something that's going to come up soon. But it's something that should come up any time. We all have life insurance, or at least most of us have life insurance from the time we're adults, because we know things can happen. We hope they don't. Advanced directives are the same thing. And
do you find that some people, you know, feel that at one point I feel this way about an advanced directive, and then they change their mind? Can you change them?
Absolutely, you can change them, and I think that's one of the misconceptions, is that people think that this is something that they put there and this is a solid thing that prevents any further care decisions, but nothing of the sort. They can change it as many times as they want, and even more importantly, it's only activated when they can't speak for themselves. As long as they can speak for themselves, that's what determines their medical care.
Okay, interesting. Now, we've got a graphic, a full page to show people on this, because you said there's 3 of them that everybody should have ready to go.
I think all adults ideally should have a living will, something that gives specifications. The living will only becomes active when someone is either terminally ill or permanently unconscious. It's something that's a very focused document. Power of attorney may be even more important in some ways. Power of attorney people are used to in business, where they can say what will happen with their worldly goods, who can take care of their checking accounts. A power of attorney for medical care establishes a patient advocate who can speak for the patient when that patient cannot speak for himself or herself. And then finally, a DNR, something very specific, somebody who does not want to have their heart shocked or CPR or be put on a ventilator. Important to emphasize that a DNR is not required. This is not something that everybody has to have, but there are some people who would prefer, because of their medical state, because of their personal preferences for quality of life, not to have resuscitation efforts undertaken. And it helps to specify that.
And we've all heard some very big national cases where a person has gone into a coma and no orders are left behind and nobody really knows what to do.
Correct, correct. And I think that's the really critical process here, is making sure that friends and family and physicians and caregivers have some idea ahead of time what the person's individual view of a quality of life is, and helps that person achieve that, even if the person can't be participating in the discussion.
All right, should we go to a hospital for these important things, or do you go to a lawyer? How do you get it done?
Well, they're very pleasant. Certainly a lawyer can help you with that, and many people, as they reach adulthood, are, as you said earlier, putting together wills for their worldly goods. Putting together a living will, establishing a patient advocate, healthcare power of attorney can be part of that process. Physicians' offices, hospitals will have pattern documents, and then there are a number of websites as well. Michigan has a website on advanced care directives that people can go to for guidance.
All right, well, this not only was important for people and families who are battling cancer, but I think just about everybody today.
Absolutely. So it isn't just about cancer. It's really about anybody who has the potential for having future medical problems, which is pretty much
that's everybody, yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing this with us. And, you know, even though it's not an easy thing to talk about, it is very important.
Absolutely. I think people regret not having them when they go through a situation and the directives aren't clear, and then, as you said earlier, things are done that they wish had not been done.
And I think sometimes the families appreciate having them in place, too.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Thank you again.
Thank you.